All right, in this tutorial, I'm going to show you how you can crop your images using Adobe Illustrator and creating what they call masks. So, a mistake that I sometimes see, I can't really say it's a mistake because sometimes it's appropriate, but most often it isn't. But when you're designing a logo or something like that and you want to include a graphic in there, you don't necessarily need the whole graphic. You just need enough so that the viewer can recognize what it is. So like if I cropped off and left only this part of it, the viewer's not going to know what that is. They need to see more of the graphic so that they can recognize that it's a paintbrush. So cropping sometimes becomes important. You can do that without losing your pixels, or rather, I'm sorry, your vectors, by creating a mask in Adobe Illustrator. So you don't have to erase all this to crop it. So let's say we come up with a design and we want the design that we want our paintbrush in a circle. All right. It's okay if it's white. I usually sometimes make my masks a color just so I can see them. So I'm drawing a circle above it. It's all on one layer, which is fine. It's perfect. But this is basically just mapping out what this is going to look like. So, that's kind of what it's going to look like when I crop it, when I mask it out, rather. So to mask it out, I'm going to select everything. So I'm going to go to File, and or rather Edit, and I'm going to select all. Or you can click and drag to select all, or you can Command A and select all, but you just got to have everything selected. Once you have it all selected, you can go to Object, and you scroll down to Clipping Mask and Make, or Command 7 is your hotkey for it. And there it is. And you can still edit this if you want. So like I'm going to click on my select arrow tool, and I'm going to hold down my option key and just select the circle and say I want it bigger. I want this. Well, once I've selected with the direct select tool, I'm going to go back and click the select tool, and I can just hold my shift key and I can make my mask bigger and distort it any way that I want. Say I want a stroke around that. If you just click on everything, it's going to select everything. You don't want to do that. You just want to select the circle itself. So again, I'm going to go back to my white arrow tool, my direct select tool. I'm going to select it, and we'll just put a black stroke around it, and I'm going to thicken that stroke a little bit. And so now it gives me a cropping, and I've got some closure going on into it as well. And because if you select everything on it, so let's go back a bit. So if I just select everything on it and I put a stroke around it, well, see how it's got that question mark where the fill is? It means it's counting the fill of the white in here. That's why it's got question mark. It's saying that there's multiple fills going on. So that's why if I put a stroke around this, it's going to put a stroke around the paintbrush too. So like I click this, see how it puts thickens and puts a stroke around that as well. And that's not what I want to do. Then I've got to select just the mask and put it around the mask. And that way it's not thickening up everything, just the circle. And so we'll say you don't want this, client didn't like it or whatever. Select everything again. And you can go up to Object, Clipping Mask, Release. And then it brings it back. And so now you can manipulate it further or whatever the client wants to do. But yeah, it's a really quick and easy way to add some graphics and crop your images for logos or graphics and stuff like that using the mask feature in Adobe Illustrator.